to leave a legacy, which I do, not as a hockey player, not as a big advertising guy, but I wanted to leave a legacy of doing good, that I needed to build new models. And so that's what we've done. Our models are all for-profit social enterprises that are built with transparency, sustainability, and collaboration. So we're not telling the charity world that you're terrible and all that. We're saying, come and work with us. We have collaboration, and together we can solve the problem. So our first models that we launched now, which are in, I think, 11 cities now in Canada, United States, are called purpose-driven travel. So purpose-driven travel is where we go into cities, we get the volunteers. There's 80 million volunteers in North America, by the way. We get the volunteers in each city and we say, come and do our program. It's a membership program, and it's about ending hunger and homelessness. Now, I know if you're raising money for diabetes, that might seem a little strange, but through our membership model, we can not only give people full transparency where their money's going, but we can create sustainability by all the things that we can give them. And then we can build collaboration through giving money back to your charity of choice. But more importantly, the only ones in North America that can subsidize volunteers. And we can do that because we're a for-profit company. It's our money. Wow. So that's how we build all these different models. We have a number of them, and we go after existing communities. So, for example, I come from the advertising marketing world. In the United States, those companies, all the companies combined, of that 1.25 trillion, they give 25 billion a year to charities. And quite frankly, they do that for tax receipts. Those same companies spend 500 billion a year on marketing. So that's where we focus. We can't give them a tax receipt anyway. So we built a model that's called ROI squared that gives them return on investment plus a return on impact. So that's what we're doing. We should hit 2 million members by the end of next year, which puts us just over $1 billion. And we'll go public in 2029.
I'm showing up as an investor for the last 30 plus years, consulting for as many years, coaching businesses for the last 15 years, primarily technical companies, because that's my background. And also, I started this space that we call Peers on Demand as a way to be able to connect with leaders so that we can connect with providers of service, with clients of services, or both, so that they can do and engage in business. And it's happened, and occasionally it includes me as well. And along the lines, we found that many of our peers were looking to generate more revenue, either internally with more clients and more market share, as well as improving the processes that they have, and externally looking for investment, either private equity or investors, or even exiting the business or transitioning at some point to that. So we started looking for companies that want to sell their companies and they can showcase their business to us. We do that on a Friday. So if you have a pitch deck and you're a company looking for funding, we'd be happy to be able to showcase your business with investors and private equity and business improvement professionals, so that we can look at areas that we can work with companies in transition. And I think all companies are in transition. Hopefully they're going up instead of down, or better sideways than down, of course. But what we do is reassess where they're at. Reassess, we then remediate what needs to be covered up with the gaps that are uncovered, and getting them ready for the private equity and investment and or exiting. And we reassessment, we look at 4 different areas: the human and health assessment of the teams, the business itself with either innovation or process improvement, and the marketing aspect of it. Depending on the business itself, we have some healthcare clients that marketing doesn't seem to appear in that, but inevitably every company looks to be able to showcase itself better. And we do an industry assessment as well to determine what does the industry say out there objectively about who they are, what they do. And once we can uncover those gaps, those areas that need to be improved, we have a team of coaches, consultants, process improvement professionals that can mitigate that and improve those performances so that we can present it to our private equity investors and showcase to them where they are, what they're looking for in terms of funding, and what is the return on investment that they can offer. And so that readiness is very important because private equity is very specific, very choosy about who they pick. And if they don't pick them right away, we come back into the remediation to be able to look at that. So that's been the approach. We're looking for certainly our peers that if you know of a company in transition, uh, they may not be exiting, they may just be transitioning. We certainly want to work with them and work with you as well to help in that remediation process or the assessment process or the readiness stuff, whatever that area might be that you feel comfortable fitting in. Additionally, of course, I mentioned that you could join our community, peersondemand.com, and participate with other leaders globally, different industries, different locations, different experience levels. Any of our upcoming events, this one's geared for CEOs. Next week, we'll have it for other leaders. And of course, our business longevity team that you can be a part of that. With that, let me invite Phil Johnson to say a little bit more. Phil's out of Canada. He's an executive coach. And Phil, I wonder if you might share what are the big ideas in your business or your industry that we should be aware of and be able to participate with you. Phil Johnson.
Thanks, Rocky. Um, I think that we're at a tipping point because of all of the changes we're facing, and we really need to be developing our leadership and emotional intelligence to be able to turn the challenges we're facing into opportunities rather than simply reacting to them. So I've been working with executives and organizations all over the world for the past 25 years, helping them to achieve whatever they want, career, personal, business success. Other organizations to partner with and to present, talk. Um, I've written over the last 25 years. I've written a lot of books and a lot of articles and been on a lot of podcasts. Um, so basically, I'm simply looking for individuals and organizations that want better results than they're currently getting and would like some help to try and do that.
Well, good. Well, maybe you find some here, but what you mentioned, Phil, is nothing new to me. Obviously, businesses want to improve. We are probably what's changed is the environment that we are, the political environment, the technology environment, the competition. All of those things are really coming a lot faster, a lot sooner, and at the same time. I think that's the huge shift. How we show up, we still want to improve. So, and I think, and I really do believe the best way to improve is to be able to partner up with somebody else that can complement our skill sets and be able to work with clients to help drive it with. I don't know what holds us back, whether it's a client that holds us back or money or all kinds of different things. So what is the challenge that you're facing in your business, Phil?
Um, Almost everybody wants better results than they're currently getting.
I would say all of them want that.
Sure, but hardly anybody is actually willing to do what I call the emotional labor of getting better results. Unless you have an urgent desire for better results, you may want better results, but you won't be willing to do the work that getting better results requires. But we're really not prepared for the future we're facing. And our educational system, our employment system, and government really hasn't done us any favors by focusing on primarily our intellectual intelligence and doing very little to develop our emotional intelligence. There was a 40-year study done at UC Berkeley comparing IQ with EQ that concluded that emotional intelligence was 400% more valuable in achieving success than intellectual intelligence. But I can tell you that it's incredibly difficult to develop. So unless you really are willing to move out of your comfort zone in the pursuit of better results, you may want better results than you're currently getting, but he won't be willing to do the work that getting better results requires.
Well, it's been my experience that everybody that promotes emotional intelligence says that's the number one thing. Actually, what I think, Phil, is if you offer enough value for getting where they want to go, people will go no matter what, the emotional, all the handicaps, all the money situations. If you show them the way and it's very credible, believable, they'll achieve that, is my contention.
I think that's true. Got to find out what they want. And then you have to show them a solution, a pathway to getting what they want. And quite frankly, most people either don't know what they want or they don't want it enough to move out of their comfort zone in the pursuit of those results.
Well, you've got some leaders here that could give us some thoughts, ideas, comments. Who's got a comment or thought or idea for Phil? Anybody, or want to partner with him?
Yeah, well, I'll just throw out a comment that the Knowles adult learning method is sort of tied into that, and of course, changing personality is hard, to develop emotional intelligence. But as you know, Phil, because we've talked before, I'm big on addressing that in the young child space with one of the ventures I have that's been on the shelf since COVID, but I have a large investment in it, and we'll restart it when I have the bandwidth to do that. But I think adult education, some of the things that Noel said was it requires obviously the desire to want to do that, but it also requires an understanding of how it maps into their practical goals and needs in the workplace. And if you don't offer them that, they're probably not going to be successful because they're not going to apply themselves to it.
Well, my question to you, Phil, is I was going to mention I like to put people in a scenario. A lot of my, I guess you could say, some of my clients that I get real close to, and also peers. I use this for myself. I try to be 10 years old nonstop throughout my life. I was 10 years old, I'll learn. I'm 10 years old. Then I'm 10 years old again, I'm 20. Then I'm 10 years old again, I'm 30. So I try to apply that in my business. And also the resilience that you build out, over a period of time helps you with that emotion. So I try to teach the same thing within my realm in IT and technology. And a lot of times these business disruptions, you can see CEOs, you can see CTOs, you can see different employees act exactly like children. You can see some of the childhood differences, but you can't be direct with them. You can't be their shrink. You can't be, and a lot of times.
Eddie, can you be specific though with something that's tangible that Phil can respond to?
Yeah, well, I see him nodding his head where he understands it a little bit, but I'm going to mention this real fast. One example, COVID, for instance, disruption in the business. A lot of times when you think about the disruption and trying to get back on track or trying to find something new based on your age or based on your sometimes your actual I guess you could say your specialty or the thing that you're good at, sometimes it's outdated and you have to remake yourself. So a lot of times we get kind of stubborn and we follow a successful template and we invested so much in that template of success of somebody else's success before. And now you failed at it and it's like, what do I do now? But at the same time, some panic. Some of us do panic and some of us give in to the failure.
Eddie sounds like you would be a good client for Phil Johnson.
What you're describing, when people get to that point, that's the starting point for change.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree.
Well, good. Change happens. Change is happening no matter whether we show up or not. It'd be better that we force it. But let's hear from somebody that knows about changes. Randy Lennon. He's got so many different things going on. Entrepreneur, financial. He's got some sort of workshop. Oh, he calls it a retreat. I think you ought to call it a play shop. So Randy, say more. What is your big idea? Bring us to the present and to the future. Big idea in your business and in your industry. Randy Lennon.
Well, thank you. I've been in so many industries and so many types of businesses. I'm pretty sure if I was born 30 years later, I would be medicated. When I turned 60, I decided that focusing in the conventional way that we're taught to focus, um, and something that I struggled with my whole adult life, being in all these different, having all these different pursuits, was basically not for me. So from in my 60s, I've embraced the idea of having, for some of you may be old enough to remember the guy spinning the plates on the Ed Sullivan Show. That's kind of been my my whole adult life.
Who's Ed
And
Sullivan?
yeah, exactly.
Never mind.
Google it, okay? Google it. It's pretty entertaining. Um, you know, and of course, because I did all these different things and I pursued so many passions. I mean, and I sold my newspaper chain of weekly newspapers at age 23 because I wanted to be a cop, and that was crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
And
Randy, this is not the History Channel. This is the Future Channel. What's
yeah,
the future in your business and in your
okay, well,
industry?
yeah, so thanks for that. Thanks for keeping me on track there, because I can tend to divert. Let's bring it right back to where I am today. The questions experience. What's the big idea? The big idea is that everyone is holding on to something that if they let go of it, it would it would change everything. And people go to therapy, they go to workshops, they sign up for programs, they get coaching. All of that is fantastic. What I'm interested in and committed to is creating um, life altering breakthroughs in maximum 7 hours, and oftentimes it's in 15 minutes. And I've been gifted with a set of questions that, tied together with the way we've crafted this retreat, 1 day retreat, it always happens. There's never an exception. Now, it's not always a life altering breakthrough. It's at least an aha moment that you can go, wow, that changes my whole world. So, of all the things I've done and I had so much fun with and pursued with passion, this I've come to believe is more of a calling. So, I'm simply putting as many people in these rooms as possible, training other people to be questions experience practitioners, facilitators, and we're taking these questions around the world.
Well, change the world in 15 minutes. Let's open it up to see who wants to participate. Anybody have a question, comment, thought, or want to buy a ticket to Randy?
Don't all speak at once.
I'll have to speak for them. Give me 1,000 tickets. In fact, give 2,000 tickets to give them away for free and see what happens.
Yeah, that's an option. And I mean, I can definitely give people a free, half-hour session with me personally to pick even one of the questions and create that change. I'm open to that idea, like free tickets for sure. In the meantime, we have a way you can register, or you can book your own retreat for your own team.
Perfect. Yeah, if you want to put in the chat box, Randy, certainly I want to encourage people to participate, get to know you, and certainly do life-changing things. But let's hear from Stephen Clark. Stephen's involved in a lot of other things, but let's just be honest about this. First and foremost, he's a hockey player taking it into the future. So he's building models. I think it's communities. He's got his future. Stephen, where's the hockey puck going?
Well, I'm focused on positive impact is what I'm focused on. I'm taking on positively taking on the charity world. As we all know, if we're depending on where we are, it's in trouble, big trouble. And if you took the time to, as we did when I first got involved in this almost 10 years ago, to really look at it strategically, that's what I was in the advertising world after hockey, a creative business strategist. You'll see that you're never going to solve the problems that we're facing. So 50 years from now, we'll be talking about the homeless people in the street and the hunger and the shoes, and it's just not going to be solved. And one of the reasons is because, there's some people, we won't name them, but they don't necessarily want it solved. In the United States, we give $1.25 trillion every year to the 1.8 million charities. They employ 12.8 million people at a cost of $800 billion, by the way. In Canada, I know some Canadians, 200 billion a year, employ 2.5 million people at a cost of 150 billion. So you got 80% roughly going back to wages. It's never going to be solved. But is the government happy with how many people are employed? Of course they are. So when I looked at that, I realized that if I wanted to leave a legacy, which I do, not as a hockey player, not as a big advertising guy, but I wanted to leave a legacy of doing good, that I needed to build new models. And so that's what we've done. Our models are all for-profit social enterprises that are built with transparency, sustainability, and collaboration. So we're not telling the charity world that you're terrible and all that. We're saying, come and work with us. We have collaboration, and together we can solve the problem. So our first models that we launched now, which are in, I think, 11 cities now in Canada, United States, are called purpose-driven travel. So purpose-driven travel is where we go into cities. We get the volunteers. There's 80 million volunteers in North America, by the way. We get the volunteers in each city and we say, come and do our program. It's a membership program. And it's about ending hunger and homelessness. Now, I know if you're raising money for diabetes, that might seem a little strange, but through our membership model, we can not only give people full transparency where their money's going, but we can create sustainability by all the things that we can give them. And then we can build collaboration through giving money back to your charity of choice. But more importantly, the only ones in North America that can subsidize volunteers. And we can do that because we're a for-profit company. It's our money.
Wow.
So that's how we build all these different models. We have a number of them, and we go after existing communities. So, for example, I come from the advertising marketing world. In the United States, those companies, all the companies combined, of that 1.25 trillion, they give 25 billion a year to charities. And quite frankly, they do that for tax receipts. Those same companies spend 500 billion a year on marketing. So that's where we focus. We can't give them a tax receipt anyway. So we built a model that's called ROI squared that gives them return on investment plus a return on impact. So that's what we're doing. We should hit 2 million members by the end of next year, which puts us just over $1 billion. And we'll go public in 2029.
Wow, Stephen, the numbers that you mentioned, I couldn't grasp them all. They were just big, big numbers. And so I commend you
Huge.
for thinking big and be able to grow and expand.
Mhm.
And I always thought that nonprofits should function and work like profit
Mhm.
organizations. And I think you've done that. So let me open it up there and see if perhaps anybody's a question, comment, thought, feedback for
Yes,
Stephen.
Stephen, I'd love to talk to you more. We do
Yeah,
have an AI crowdfunding program that we
yeah,
give away AI application to donors, to nonprofits so that you can give back
yeah,
to the donors. In this case, it could be small business,
yeah.
nonprofit, whatever. So that will basically supercharge your fundraising.
Yeah, we can certainly talk about that. I'm going to be honest with you. The tech world has done an absolutely deplorable job when it comes to the charity world. 93% of the models, as you're speaking about right now, that have been built from the tech world to address the charity world have been created to help them raise more money. I just
Yeah,
finished
this is
telling
a
you.
different model. We
Yeah,
actually have we have an AI entrepreneurship program that
yeah.
also be as part of the AI crowdfunding.
Yeah, again, the problem with anything that you're doing is if it's just to help charities or people to give more money back to charities, it's not going to solve the problem. We know that now. We have all the data to prove it. So we need to create stuff that we can do. For example, we're self-funded. The reason we're self-funded is because people looked at our model and said, "Oh, I don't know about that. And that's never been done before." So I said, I just didn't have the time. I said, "The hell with it. We'll just do it ourselves." But people are running around talking about impact investing. There's no impact investors in North America. Don't kid yourself. People will call themselves impact investors, but the impact investing in North America is about how much money can I make And yes, it's good that it's doing something well. We got $5 million or 5 million euros to launch purpose-driven artists, and we told them we could double their money in 4 years. And those guys in Europe said, "No, that's no good. We need it more in 7 or 8 years doubled."
Well, that doesn't make sense, but all right.
Yeah, it does make sense. It makes sense the fact that they're not interested in how much money they can make. They're interested in the impact.
Oh,
And
okay.
so if they don't double their money in 4 years, but they double it in 8 years, that means we have more money to put back into it and make a bigger impact.
Got it.
That's what it is, which is the total opposite of North
Yeah.
America.
There's also the other perspective is there's a vacuum in the AI space that we need to educate more people to get on the AI revolutions. Otherwise, there's going to be another crisis. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, listen, AI needs, you're absolutely right. It needs a whole bunch of different things. But, my industry is solving homelessness and hunger and mental health. And those are the things that we're working for right now. And we do use AI, by the way, just so you know. Our
Yeah.
platforms have got AI integrated into them. Our affiliate programs have got AI. So, yeah.
Yeah, Stephen, I couldn't agree with you more. I've had nonprofit clients in my distant past, and I stopped working with nonprofits for the very reason you're articulating, is they can't have the kind of impact they need to have without a positive cash flow element that allows them to grow.
Mm.
Well, and the other thing is keep in mind now is that transparency. So up until now, they kind of got away with it. Now you've got AI. You
Yeah.
want to verify all my numbers? Just go to ChatGPT. You can do it in a minute. Now imagine a person, for example, Canada. I know somebody's from Calgary. So they go in and they say, "How much money do we raise in total for the 170,000 charities and nonprofits in Canada?" Oh, ChatGPT, 190 million. Okay, great. And how many people are employed? 2.5 million. At what cost? 150 billion. You're like, whoa, 150 billion. That's 80% of 190. Yes, it is. No more BS, no more camouflaging it or whatever. There it is. So now what's happening is people who are giving and saying, "Where's my money going? What's the impact?" And I'll tell you how bad it's getting. I'll be meeting with her team. Is Mackenzie Scott 4 months ago, front page in San Francisco. I've been giving a quote. I've been giving money, a lot of money, for a few years now. I'm trying to eradicate the homelessness in San Francisco, and it keeps getting worse. Where's my money going, and what's the impact? And let's
Mm.
face it, she doesn't
Yeah.
need the money. She doesn't get, she doesn't care. She gives to everything. She's starting to get, people are now starting to say, "Where's that going?" And that's what the problem is. And that's why we built our model fully around transparency. But now charities can actually partner with us. And the people look at our transparency. We still give money back to the charity, but they get away with it. We've even had CEOs of charities saying, "Yes, we're giving you all of our volunteers. So we don't have to have that whole transparency issue." So they're doing good. They have great intentions, and it's not like they don't do any good, but they can't keep up with the demand, and it's just getting worse and worse. And by the way, government, you bring government in, you will absolutely screw everything up.
You bet.
LA
Yeah.
right now, we're coming with a program. We said to the Olympic Committee, we could take 25,000 people off the streets before the Olympics. The
Mm.
government said to them, "We don't really have a plan yet for the 75,000 people who are living on the streets. We don't really have a plan yet to know what we're going to do with them."
Wow.
Yeah.
I have a story in a book I'm writing, Stephen, called
Mhm.
Corruptcy, which is about the incompetence of government. And we've been here before and done this before. In the 1960s, New York tried to wipe out the homelessness problem by
Yep.
building all of the government sponsored housing in the Bronx and other areas, right? And what happened is they invested hundreds of millions, billions in today's dollars, and the problem just got bigger because everyone came from all the other 49 states to get the free housing in New York, right?
Exactly.
And so government wants its organizations to grow too.
Mm.
And so they get addicted to, and they actually increase the size of the problem instead of getting to the root cause.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's absolutely. I mean, you just have to. It took me a couple of years to build this model, And I was one of the top 10 creative business strategists in the world, in the advertising world. It took me 2 years to build this. And we have everything, and you look at it and say, well, what about this? Here you go. Oh, okay. Even the government now. Canadian government's just giving us $20 million right now to build our first housing project in Ottawa.
Let's hear from Ferdinand Benitez. He's out of California with IT development. I think everybody's in IT development nowadays. So, Ferdinand, what makes you different than everybody else?
So I have an IT company, and a lot of major corporations have their own IT, as you all know. But there are certain operational departmental level groups that actually have some IT projects that their IT company don't want to do. So that's where I come in and try to help the smaller units on a departmental operational level, just small projects that a big IT department would not want to do, kind of like a 3-month project, 6-month project. We just want to do it and then go and then move on to the next. So small projects that we do that nobody wants to do. That's what I meant by that. So more on day-to-day operational type stuff. And yeah, that's been my mantra for a while. Is trying to
that when companies start using it, Chat GPT, all the AI tools, they're going to do the things that they don't want to do. So, like Steven said, everybody's going to be using AI. So, how are you positioned with AI to be able to help your business and help the clients? Ferdinand?
Yeah, I don't know. It's the first time I've actually really started to think about that. Not that I'm hearing everybody here. It's like, yeah, that's a really good point. What am I gonna do? So I'm probably gonna ask AI what I'm gonna do and see if it can help me figure out how I can leverage AI itself to help me with the business and grow with it, I guess. It's
Well,
more
there's
of
some people here that can help you in both, not just the
Yes.
business, but also with technology. Let me open it up to see if anybody has a question, comment, thought, feedback for Ferdinand. Anybody?
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity in AI that you can explore. I mean, one is if you look at the last McKinsey report, most of the money has been spent on lead generation, customer support, and many others. So, yeah, I'd love to talk to you more. I just got connected with you on LinkedIn.
Yes, thank you, Matt.
Good. Thanks for that, Ferdinand. Appreciate it. Let's
Yeah.
hear from Gade, or I think, Gade, your first name is Guillermo, but maybe you could say a little bit more. But you've got 43 years of experience. You're involved with a business roundtable. You're involved with logistics, a lot of different things as a CEO.
The main thing, we have a service that really helps with uptime, avoids downtime, work with heavy industry. And so once we get a chance to be in front of the right people in an organization, we're able to work with them and integrate everything they're doing into what we're doing. So this is something we've only been doing for the last couple of years. So the main thing we're doing right now is to make sure that all the different leads that we get, that we have a process to go make sure that we eventually get in front of the right person. The right person normally would be somebody that's fairly high up in an organization, like the maintenance manager, the plant manager, the turnaround specialist or something. And so we, over the years, we've collected a lot of information on the different companies we have been working with. So instead of having a Thomas register, we have our own register that people can go tap into. And so we can go take our experience working with these people and be able to do a lot better job, primarily with vendor management. And then what we don't have, then the database that we built actually has 3 million different contacts in it. So we can go in there and supplement. So we're just kind of screwing around. Logistics is kind of interesting because normally it's not quite as sophisticated as what the rest of you guys are doing. The main thing we do is we have really good people. We have very, very low turnover, and we operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so that when somebody calls, they get a live body. And that makes a big, big difference with companies. I think we've all been frustrated trying to get a hold of somebody and can't.
Well, let's open it up to see if somebody wants to get a hold of you right now and talk to you. Anybody have a
When
question?
you're talking about logistics in a way, is it based on supply chain, uh, like visibility, or is there some issues where based on the tariffs, you have a channel or you're building things around that to help us out where we can do more through you?
Yeah, we have developed our own software over the years, and we're made up of a number of different divisions. So each company actually have their own specialty. So we do have a very strong international division that complements the domestic, and we have our own media company that specializes in what we call MTMS, media technology and marketing, to go help increase sales. So probably one of the biggest challenges we have um, is how do we take all the different bright people and get them on the same page. Um, we're doing a lot better, but it does lend itself, having different companies kind of does lend itself to having fiefdoms. And so that's probably one of our bigger challenges that we've been working on. And then the same thing is, trying to deal with hybrid. So, we go out of a way to go work with people when we have somebody good. They could be in California. We have people we work with out of Colombia, probably 7 or 8 different states. And so it's a matter of how do we make sure that we get good work from people, but we're very interested also in taking care of people. So we do things over the years, like many times we've gone in there and helped people with housing problems. So many years ago, when you could afford houses, then we had a program that every month people got.
All right, well, let's hear from Bob Norton. Bob Norton certainly has a lot of experience with companies, has had 4 companies, currently has 3, written a book. Bob, I wonder if you could say a little bit better than I can about who you are, what you do, big ideas in your business and in your industry. Bob Norton.
Yeah, well, our big idea is catalyzing more companies to get through that $10 million sales barrier, which people don't understand is only 1 in 400 companies, and only 1 in 6,300 companies ever reaches 100 million in sales. I'm a believer, and I don't mean it as hyperbole, that any company can become a billion-dollar company if you have a culture of innovation and continue to create new products and go into new markets. So we inject discipline, which would probably be the number one word that sums up all of Jim Collins's books, into a company culture and create a high performance culture that we call a Darwinian meritocracy, by injecting structure in the cadence of strategic planning and dashboards and cultural management of high performance teams, as well as process management, human capital acquisition and development, and a skunkworks innovation module. So I just named the 6 modules that we will install, and they're all independent. And almost every company out there has no structure for really doing these things in a disciplined way regularly, and dedicating that time to working on the business instead of in the business, as Michael Gerber says. So, we catalyze that, and it's a 1-year process to install all of those systems, about 2 months for each system. And that will get them to where I've gotten. I had 2 startups reach 100 million in sales in 5 years each as my claim to fame before I started all of this. And so this is always, this is all very practical and has been filtered not only from 1,000 books I've read on business in my career, but filtered by my actual experience, 14 years as a serial entrepreneur. So we work mainly with companies that have a $1 billion total addressable market in the future and can reach 100 million in sales. But we can take any company to $10 million pretty rapidly by injecting these disciplines.
Invite you to join us again. We do this on a monthly basis with CEOs to participate, but you don't have to wait a month. Monday we'll have for Canadian executives, so we And on Tuesday, we'll have it for a different session for acquisitions. The key is that you could freely join and participate as in our community, peersondemand.com, and also consider participating, work with us. If you know of a company that's in transition, we certainly want to work with you and be able to compensate you and include you in the reassessment, remediation, and readiness portion. So with that, thank you for joining. Enjoy the weekend. Anybody have a closing comment, thought, idea? Anybody?
Thanks for your efforts, Rocky, is all I wanted to say.
Yeah, thanks for hosting it, and have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy, and
Thank
we'll
you.
talk to you soon.
Thank
Have a
you,
good day.
everyone.